Who is to blame? Who is to blame for San Francisco 49ers loss? Is it Kyle Shanahan? Is it the defense? Is it Nick Sorensen? We're going to talk about all that and more right here. Keep it locked. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
The Crock Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of the Eric Crocker Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, and I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in and also let you know that this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com and use promo code Crocky. All right, that's CROCKY for all of your daily fantasy sports play. It's the best out there, the best live play. Prize picks, all that stuff. Forget all that. Underdog Fantasy, download the app and use promo code Crocky. Go do that right now. A lot going on with the San Francisco 49ers, so we're going to get straight into it. 49ers lose to the Arizona Cardinals. Who's to blame? And I wanted to start, there's a couple of different directions to take this, but obviously I'm going to start with the offense. I always start with the offense. I think this. A lot of people, we can point out, defensive this and that and whatnot, but when you are the quote-unquote offensive genius, when you are the guy that's the innovator, when you are the one who has several all pros at your disposal, I expect a little bit more than being able to put up, 16 points in the game? I mean, how many touchdowns did the 49ers lose? Score. How many touchdowns did the 49ers score? So I got Jam in there and he says, team loss. Offense only one TD. Defense caved in the fourth quarter. All right. But if y'all know anything about me, all right, and the 0 points in the second half by the 49ers. 0. Like, you score 2 points in the second half, you win the game. Score 2. Right? You get a safety, you win. All the 49ers have to do is get a safety in the second half, and they would have won this game. But not only did they not score 2 points, get a safety or anything like that. Like, they scored 0. They scored 0. And I get it. Defense cave. It is extremely difficult to continue to hold a defense. And just expect that's what's going to happen. So the 49ers defense, they finally kind of cracked a little bit. I thought they did some good things early on in this game. They forced a turnover. Interception. They forced a punt, which eventually got blocked. They did some decent things. Obviously, it started off with a bang with the Kyler Murray touchdown run, but I thought the 49ers, they kind of all right, let's slow down. Let's corral this and let's start to get in a little groove defensively. And I thought they did that. And they definitely gave the 49ers an opportunity to win this game. But the offense failed. And y'all know me, I always try to look at it from the perspective of let's not panic. Let's not just call blame on one unit. We don't know this or we don't know that. Kyle Shanahan's offense is failing. And I think the biggest issue with it right now is failing in the red zone. Now, this has been something that has been going on all year. Yesterday, the 49ers were 1-6, 1 for 6 in the red zone. That's atrocious. That's bad. All right. They're 1-6, 1 for 6 in the red zone. Not good. But if you go back even week 1, right? First of all, the 49ers have only won 2 games this year, right? So you played 5 games, you've won 2. Who are the 2 teams the 49ers beat? The terrible New York Jets, the terrible New England Patriots. Now, it's not easy to win any game in the NFL. But when those are your only wins, and you've lost multiple divisional games now, you've lost another team that's in the same conference as you. That is not good. I don't think y'all need me to tell you that that's not good. But where does it start? And I think it starts with Kyle Shanahan. All right. When I look at Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers offense and what it's supposed to be, all right, what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be an innovative offense with innovative concepts And I think the only thing that he's like really innovative with is the run game. I think he does a terrific job with being innovative in the run game, having some kind of exotic blocking schemes, getting it blocked up, and he does a great job. But when you need to throw and you need to have this drop back passing offense, where is it? And where is the creativity in the red zone? When I think of the 49ers in the red zone, I think of, well, you should be getting touchdowns. And I understand, I do think that they miss Christian McCaffrey. But it shouldn't take having Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Jordan Smith. Like, you shouldn't have to have everybody to be able to score some points in the red zone. Heck, I'm watching the Washington Commanders score points in the red zone every week. Washington Commanders are scoring. I feel like the Commanders are scoring every time they touch the ball. They got a rookie quarterback at Jaden Daniels. They got a running back who had to miss games because he got shot in the leg. They got Terry McLaurin, who's terrific. And outside that, you guys probably can't name any other Commanders. So for Commanders to be able to put up the efficiency, which is scoring points, like again, 49 scored 0 points in the second half. But the Commanders, they're scoring points. They're scoring touchdowns. What are the 49ers doing? I like what Chris Wall says here. It's coaching. It's not a personnel problem. And it's not, because they got the guys. They have all pros. All pros. Like, to me, and now I've made this, I've talked about this with Brandon Aiyuk. And I feel like people wasn't really hearing me. And then now you see, like, this is the other side of it. What have I been saying about Brandon Aiyuk? Right? We see Brandon Aiyuk goes off. All right, and I wasn't going to get into Brandon Aiyuk yet, but we'll just lump it all together. We saw Brandon Aiyuk go off yesterday. He had 100 yards in the first half, had almost 150 yards in this game. And all I've been telling people, well, he doesn't look the same. He this and he that. And it's like, look, Brandon Aiyuk is the same. A lot of this has to do with opportunity. And I have said, I personally would assign Brandon Aiyuk. He's a terrific receiver. If I'm the 49ers, I don't think I'm re-signing Brandon Aiyuk because they don't feature him. The way the 49ers do it is, this is our passing game. This is our concept. We're just going to run our concepts, and based off of our concepts, if you get the ball, you get the ball. If not, we ain't doing a whole lot to put the ball in your hands. So it just so happened, like, this is not like, all right, and we're going to come out against the Arizona Cardinals and we're going to throw the ball, 9 times to Brandon Aiyuk in the first half. Like, that's not what the 49ers do. But it's just like, well, the defense is showing this and this. So Brandon Aiyuk, you might be the beneficiary and get the ball. But with him getting the ball and with them not really featuring guys, how many catches did Deebo Samuel have yesterday? How many times did Deebo Samuel touch the ball? How many catches did Juwan Jennings have yesterday? There is, in no world should Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings have a combined 2 receptions. And you wonder why you're failing in the red zone. You're wondering why you fail in the red zone. Because you can't figure out how to be creative enough to get the ball in your best playmaker's hands, which is Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is your best playmaker. There's some things that he's not. I don't think that Deebo is a terrific separator. That's nobody's surprised to hear that. I don't think Deebo is a great receiver versus man coverage. Nobody would dispute that. But what Deebo is an amazing playmaker. You get the ball in his hands. And the fact that he had the ball in his hands, let's see, let me add it up. He had 3 carries for 9 yards and 1 reception. 4 times. 4 times. And 3 on the handoffs. 1 was an end around. Right? To me, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Now, Jam 18 says Deebo is old, time to rebuild. He should be one of the first to go. I would say that's BS, because it was just a couple weeks ago. Let's see what game this is. Against the Minnesota Vikings, Deebo had 8 catches for 110 yards. 8 catches for 110. So is it Debo's inability to be good, even though he just had 8 for 110 against the Minnesota Vikings, like the best defense in the NFL? Or is it a Kyle Shanahan thing? Is it a Kyle Shanahan thing? And I think at some point, we might have to look at it and say, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, the NFL is on to what Kyle Shanahan does. Hey, man, you blocking up this run stuff, great. You do those things. But, man, if we can force them to be one-dimensional. I coach high school football. E-House. All right, we play Lincoln this week. Let's go. You already know what time it is, man. North side versus south side. But we played against Tracy. All right, we played against Tracy High Friday night. And I'm watching the game. And they run that veer offense, right? Like, it's like this veer, and there's creativity. They're going to hand the dive. They might fake the dive, quarterback pull. He can option it. He might flip it to this guy win in motion. They do all this exotic stuff in the run game. And I'm watching their pass concepts, and I'm like, they definitely don't spend a whole lot of time with their passing concepts. Like, these concepts are trash. So if we could force this team to be one-dimensional and have to throw the ball to win, we will blow them out. We'll blow Tracy out if we could force them to be one-dimensional, because they put all their resources into that run game. But you take that run game away, what do they have then? And I don't even know if Arizona – first of all, we won 40-0. I don't even know if Arizona – just stifled the 49ers run game. But for whatever they did, because I think, Jordan Mason averaged, 6 yards per carry or something like that? Like, he ran the ball well, sprung off some big runs, and maybe that factors into his – if you ask the Arizona Cardinals, they may say, you know what, yes, they sprung off some big runs with Jordan Mason, so that's going to inflate his yards per carry. But ultimately, we did a really good job of limiting what he could do on a play-to-play basis. All right. Now, Chris in the chat says, Crock, we got into the red zone 6 times. We talked about that. Okay, you get into the red zone 6 times. You go 1-6. So that's the money. They call that the green zone. That's the money. All right. You're not scoring in the red zone. And whose fault is that? It's Kyle Shanahan. This is your offense. And you have the dogs. Again, I referenced the Washington Commanders. They have a rookie quarterback, Brian Robinson, and whoever else at running back, Austin Eckler, I think it is. You got Terry McLaurin and whoever else, Diami Brown, whoever you have. They are scoring touchdowns. They are scoring points. They're putting up 30-plus points a game. The 49ers offense scored 16 points. 16. So, Chris, I'll put the link in the chat for you. Here we go. Come on, Chris. We're going to talk about this. Appreciate everybody's in the chat right now. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Kenny Powers says, Sorensen is weak. Look. Offense, all the defense needed was the offense to score 2 points in the second half. Can you get a safety? Can you just score a points? And they couldn't do it. 0 points in the second half. So I don't want to hear, well, the red zone 6 times. They scored 0 points in the second half. What's up, Chris?
All right, Crock. I hear you. I promise I do. Because somebody was like, well, what do we blame Kyle Shanahan for? And I say, what we can blame him for is a lack of consistency from the team overall. There's been a lack of consistency. And when your team is not playing consistent football, that's on the head coach, 100%. But there are some things that the players have to take accountability for, and that's a lack of execution when they're in the red zone, when they're put in the right position to make a play. 2 different times we were in the red zone. Did Brock Purdy not miss that throw to Juwan Jennings? How's that Kyle Shanahan fault? You created a play. Jennings was open. If Brock puts it on there, that's a touchdown. the series before that. Kittle open on the left side. Brock Purdy late on the throw and he threw it high and away, and Kittle can't advance for a touchdown. That's not on Kyle Shanahan. That's on Brock Purdy. Ultimately, then the last time, the fumble by Jordan Mason. We got to the red zone yet again, moving the ball. They didn't make us one dimensional. We moved the ball extremely well. And who fumbled the ball? That's not on Kyle Shanahan. Now, like I said, when you talk about the overall picture of everything, yes, a lack of consistency from the team is on the head coach. But if you're talking about, oh, I'm going to blame it on Kyle Shanahan when we get to the red zone, no, I can't blame it on Kyle Shanahan. Even in our first trip, Kittle dropped that pass. It was right there. The defender didn't do anything. He dropped the pass. Lack of execution by the players.
And who does that fall on?
Overall, like I said, the lack of consistency from the team is Kyle. But again, when a coach puts you in the right position for your players to make plays, they got to make the plays, my dude. Crock, if you hold on, Crock, if you tell your DB, because you've done this before too, and you told me, hey, this play is going to happen, it's going to be right here, and your player doesn't execute, that do not fall on you.
Now, it's different from a defensive perspective and an offensive perspective, because the offense, you get to dictate how you want to do it, how you want to dress it up. You're moving forward with everything. As a defense, we're reacting to everything. So are you 100% putting your guys in a position consistently to be the most as successful as they can? Are you doing things to where it puts the defenses in a bind? So, yeah, you could say do this, do that, block things up, right, on the Jordan Mason fumble. I saw Kyle Juszczyk miss a block. I saw George Kittle get bulldozed.
Yeah.
Like, I saw those things, right? So you could say, oh, execution. But maybe are you consistently asking them to do certain things where, like, is there a better way that we could do it? We're on offense. We have the opportunity to work this however we want. And when I watch the 49ers offense right now, there is a lack of execution, specifically in the red zone.
Yes,
specifically in the red zone.
100%.
And again, okay. you were on. We talked to my dog Lavelle Hawkins, right? And Lavelle played years in the NFL, played receiver. You were on the phone with Hawk. What did he say about Kyle Shanahan in the offense? This is weeks ago. This is not even like yesterday. This is weeks ago. I had Hawk on speakerphone. What did he say about the 49ers offense with Kyle Shanahan?
If I can remember, I got CTE, got hit in the head too much. He said it's pretty bland.
It's bland. It's bland.
But that bland offense got you into the red zone 6 times, bro. That's no fluke.
If you don't score, whatever. Yeah, you're the running back broke off some big runs. There were a couple of times where Aiyuk was able to help get the 49ers down the field. But ultimately, like, you're not sealing the deal.
But listen, do you see where I'm getting at? I'm blaming my guy, Brock Purdy. Because again, that was a touchdown to Jawan Jennings.
So now it's a quarterback issue.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's got to be better in the red zone. Crock, and I love Brock Purdy. I mean, I go against you all the time, or Greg, or anybody, but I can't do that this week. I literally cannot go back at y'all as much as I want to. Brock has got to be better in the red zone. He has to be. He even said it himself. He said, I got to let things rip in the red zone. I'm not doing that. He's got to be better. And it's not even letting things rip. You just got to be accurate. You got to be more accurate. But let me say this, because I'm about to hit the gym. A run is coming.
I already hit the gym,
Okay, good job, Crock. A run is coming now. Hear me out, Crock. A run is coming. Thursday, I promise you, we'll beat the Seattle Seahawks. And if we don't, I will make you a free poster, header, whatever you want. But a run is coming.
Why do you believe? Is this like hope, or is this, the 49ers, they're going to Seattle on a short? You are more confident in a team,
yes,
to be able to go on the road,
yes,
beat
can I tell you
team
why?
on a short week. You're playing on a Thursday. on the road in Seattle, which you already know the crowd's going to be cranking, you are more confident that they'll win that game than being able to beat the Arizona Cardinals, who have one of the worst defenses in the league, losing to that team at home and getting blanked in the second half. And you're confident that they're going to go to Seattle and beat that team. I'm not saying Seattle's great, but Arizona, you had everything working in your favor. You're at home. You got your guys out there on the field. You're relatively healthy on the offside side of the ball as far as your weapons go. You get a block field goal return for a touchdown at home, and you could not win. You got 0 points in the second half. You're more confident that the team that lost that game can go to Seattle and win on the road on a short week.
Yes, Croc, and I'll tell you why. The both games that we lost, we actually were at some point in that game we were dominating, and ultimately we just didn't finish. We let them back in, whether it was special teams or whether it was a lack of execution in the red zone. Croc, those things can be fixed. They will be fixed. Thursday,
How?
Hold on. That's
how?
up to
No, because you're telling me. They think. How will it be fixed?
That's up to the coaches. It's not up to me. If I knew how to fix it, I would be in the 49ers organization getting paid at least $300,000 a year.
But so, you're telling me that these things on a short week. Again, I can understand if they've been clicking and then because your back is kind of against the wall on short weeks. Like it's the teams that typically have to travel on that Thursday for that Thursday game, they don't do as well. Now the 49ers, when they're clicking, they're on fire, they're doing things. It hasn't bothered them, I guess, kind of as much, but it's the odds are kind of stacked against you a little bit when you're the road team playing Thursday. That's just in general. So a team that not only is playing on a short week, but you're saying they need to fix these things. They got to fix their red zone offense. When? Like, what is today? So typically, NFL week, you have, you travel back Sunday or after the game, but it's a home game, so they're home. Monday, you come in, you watch film, do some lifting, etc. Tuesday, you have off. Wednesday is your first full practice. And then Thursday, practice. Friday, more of a walkthrough practice type thing. Saturday, travel, whatever. You got to skip some of these days now. So you played on Sunday, got beat at home. Game you shouldn't have lost. All right. Monday, you're watching film. What days do they have to, take off, recover? Next thing you know, you have to travel. When are you traveling? You're probably traveling Wednesday. So you're flying out Wednesday for a Thursday game. So when exactly are the 49ers going to get better at their execution in the red zone this week?
It's a mental thing, bro. It's a mental thing. Again, if I'm telling you the play is there and my quarterback was inaccurate throwing it not once but twice, if my running back fumbled, that's 3 times. That's 3 different times we possibly could have scored. 3 different times. It's a mental thing. At the end of the day, and I know people are tired of hearing it, but our team plays well when our back is against the wall more times than not. And I'm going to tell you this. When adversity, our team likes to answer and when adversity happens. So I can only go off of what I know. I can go off of how the Niners have done on Thursday night games, which they are typically, I would say in the last 3 years, I don't recall of us losing a Thursday night game in the last 3 years. I could be wrong, but I don't recall.
They lost on some last year, the Baltimore game. Was that a Thursday or like a Saturday? It was Christmas Day.
That was Monday night.
Okay.
Monday night. We played Seattle on a Thursday, and we played the Giants and went 2-0. And the year before, what
was that Tennessee Titan game?
That was 21. That was, I believe, that might have been a Sunday night. Could have been a Thursday. I'm not sure. But usually, I think our record is pretty. In the last 3 years, I think our record is pretty good on Thursday night. So again, Our back is against the wall. We usually play well. Thursday night, we usually play well. These games that we've lost, we actually were playing well, and then we just couldn't finish. At the end of the day, it's a mental thing. You got to finish the job. I promise you, Thursday, when we come back here on Friday, and you're going to have a show Friday, I will be back on here, and you're going to be like, Chris, you were right. Good job having faith. Now, when we talk about the Chiefs, that's a whole different story. But Friday, we're going to have a conversation. Niners will be 3-3. I'm out of here, Croc.
And I hope so. And I hope you're right. But you know who's going to come on now to kind of bring this all together? I'm going to get you out of here, Roscoe. Appreciate you coming on. Shout out to my guy, Roscoe's Chris. But Tia Ingram is going to come on now. And good morning, Tia. I think Tia will maybe breathe a little bit more confidence in me. Because right now, I feel like in these games, you've done some good things. And then it like comes to a halt and you find ways to lose. To me, almost sounds like the signs of a bad team. But Tia, can the 49ers turn things around on a short week going to Seattle?
Good morning. I don't know because the way Seattle lost. If Seattle had won that game, then I would feel like, okay, yeah, they could probably get them on that game. But the way that Seattle lost that game yesterday, I think they're going to be just as hungry as we are. So I think it's going to be kind of like the Arizona game. Honestly, I think it's going to be because Seattle should have won that game yesterday as well and got a block kick, and the rest is history. So I don't think that game is going to be as easy as it's supposed to be. And also, too, isn't the coach from the Ravens? Isn't that the defensive coordinator from the Ravens? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's the head coach now for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, so I'm worried. Yes, because we saw what they did to us when we played the Ravens.
Now hold on. I got a little bit of pushback on that. Yes, great scheme. We saw how he stifled the 49ers. Some of that has to do with personnel as well. And the Baltimore Ravens had the personnel to be able to do what he did against the Niners when he was with Baltimore. Do the Seattle Seahawks have the personnel to be able to stifle the 49ers offense in that way? I'm kind of going to answer my own question. Seeing an Arizona team hold the 49ers to 0 points in the second half, a defense that definitely didn't have the personnel to be able to do that, and they did it anyways. Are the 49ers maybe a little bit too old and slow offensively? Do you think maybe that's what some of the issues are? Are they putting enough pressure on opposing defenses in the passing game?
For one, I think, okay. I think it's a lot. Some of it has to do with the scheme. I agree. Some of it is on Kyle Shanahan. I think the little sweeps to Debo, everybody know that's coming. You see Debo lying back there, everybody know what it is. Why we keep doing it? It's not working anymore. The league has caught up. That's one. Two, yesterday, a lot of that mess that Brock was doing where he was trying to get out the pocket and just holding on to the ball, that's that mess he did at Iowa. He needs to cut it out. I hear all these people like, oh, Kyle needs to give him the offense. He needs to do this. No, because that foolishness that he was doing yesterday, no, because a lot of that is the reason why we did lose the game was because of that hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball. I'm trying to, be like Lamar Jackson. You're not. Yeah, you can get out a little couple tackles and you can run and get a first down, but you don't need to make that a habit every time the pocket breaks down, or even when the pocket don't break down, I see him do it. So it's kind of confusing. I don't know where his mindset is. I don't know if it's contract or whatever, or hearing people outside saying he can't throw the ball or he can't make plays or what, but it seemed like it's getting to him because he's doing stuff that I'm not used to see him doing. So that's another. Brandon was cooking. He was getting open as usual, as we all have been saying. BA gets open, they just don't throw him the ball. They throw him the ball, and then the second half, they don't throw him the ball. It's the same thing that happened last year. They throw BA the ball in the first half. The second half, they act like he ain't on the field. We keep trying to throw Debo passes. Everybody know he can't beat one-on-one coverage. It's just he can't. I don't know why they think he's that type of receiver. He's not. He's a great talent. But Debo, if somebody pushes Debo, he will not catch the ball. He is not a physical receiver. He is not the type where I need you to run a route. I need you to get
Wait. He is physical. You're saying through the catch.
Contact.
I'm talking about through contact. Okay, gotcha.
If he's open, wide open.
Make sure we clarify that for the people in the chat.
Well, I mean, if he's open and he gets a wide open lane, yes, he's physical. But if there's a corner who puts hands on Debo, he is not catching the ball. He will not catch the ball. We've seen it in the Super Bowl where they threw him the ball 10 times and we're all trying to figure out why do we keep forcing the ball to Debo? He's not that type of receiver. But yet and still, Kyle prioritizes certain players on his team to get them the ball. So I think it's a collective loss. I don't think it's just on Brock or Kyle or any. I think it's a whole team effort. I think everybody is probably tired of hearing Kyle. It happens. He's been there 8+ years, so they probably it's kind of like oh, this wine is good, and he's like, it's kind of stale. It's not even cold. It's just ugh. And I think that's wearing on the players, and they are older, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's just the league has caught up with them. The league is better. If we look at all these teams that were not good last year, everybody now has a legit quarterback for the most part. Outside of Carolina, we're not even talking about them. But everybody has a legitimate quarterback. Look at Washington, look what they're doing. Look at Caleb Williams. He then finally came on and got it together. I would even say Indianapolis, but he keep getting hurt, so that's out. But every team, for the most part, in the NFC has a legitimate quarterback. And I think that's the problem where we're having to deal with these offensive coordinators that know how to do stuff, and the defenses are not, getting lost in the sauce where they're doing all these motions. They just playing football. And it's going to catch up with them. And then our job is just to change it. So I think it's a collective loss. I don't think it's just one specific person. Like I know you said Kyle. Kyle gets on my nerves, but I don't think it's all on Kyle. I agree with the last call. I think it's just these players got to execute. Brock got to play better. This was his worst game. Outside of the Ravens, he needs to play better. They were people that were open. He just didn't throw it. So I don't know. I don't know they definitely can't fix it by Thursday. I agree. Because are they even going to have practice this week? Because everybody.
They'll have walkthroughs. They'll have film. They'll have walkthroughs. There won't be like a full on practice.
Because you think about it, when they have practice, somebody gets hurt, so they can't do that. They can't do that Thursday, and then also too, they got to find a kicker. We fail to realize they don't have a kicker.
Yeah.
And if we can't even score in the red zone, we're not putting up points with Kyle Juszczyk and Wisnowski out here trying to act like he's a kicker. We just not, so they got to find a kicker soon, probably by today, because if not, it's going to look worse Thursday trying to go out there and we don't score and get touchdowns and we don't have a kicker.
Yeah. Now, I agree. Tia, man, I appreciate you coming on. Somebody in the chat, when you came on, they said, yeah, I know she's going to say everything I'm thinking.
I'm trying to be positive. I just don't, I just think it reminded me of the Harbaugh years, that last year when everything just kind of hit the fan, kind of. That's what it seemed like. And maybe we just, we enjoyed the ride. But, I thought they should have blew it up last year and kind of retooled and got younger. But they didn't. They decided to stick. I think last year was our best year, honestly, because everybody was not good. And I think this was the year where everybody was going to be better. And it shows. There's a lot of good teams in the NFL this year. It's not many teams that are just kind of like bad. There's a lot of injuries, but I think there are a lot of great teams. And I don't think that these next 8 weeks is just going to be a cakewalk where we can just get it together and figure it out. I don't believe that, because we ain't beat the Chiefs. I don't know why people will have hope that we can beat the Chiefs. I haven't seen it. So when it happens, then we can all do a sigh of relief. Like, woo, got that monkey off our back. But the Chiefs, the Bills, those are real quarterbacks. Like, they'll fling it. If they see you open, they throwing it. So I don't know. I just don't have the same hope I did last year where we can say we'll go on a run. I don't see it. Me personally, I just don't feel that kind of hope.
All right, T. I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get the next caller on.
All right, see you later.
All right. One thing I think I might do. Oh, I got a super chat here I need to attend to. I got my guys. I got a couple guys. I'm gonna phone a friend. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get Jedi on, and I see my Edison High coaches. They're in the chat, so I know they're awake. I'm gonna call. First, I'll call Desmond Bishop, and I'm gonna see if Dez watched the 49er game yesterday and just like his thoughts on 49ers offense. All right. I don't know if he watched the game or not. Well, all he does is watch football. All he does is watch film. So he may have watched it. And then I'm going to call Lavelle. And I know Lavelle definitely watched. And I know he's going to have an opinion. So I'm going to phone a friend and call a couple of my guys. All right. A couple of my NFL homies. Yaz Williams in the chat says, was Kyle the genius or was it our other coaches that are now winning with other teams? Now, when we say winning with other teams, because there's one who I think a lot of people, when he first got this coaching job, were like, 49ers miss him. They miss having him. Mike McDaniel, I don't know what the hell is going on right now with the Miami team, but they're trash. Well, when you're down to I think that hurts, right? Like not having quarterback. If Brock was out right now, I think it could get a little sticky for the front. Heck, it's sticky with him. But I can only imagine if you took him out, with the 49ers still, look good. I still like, some of the guys the 49ers have at the quarterback position. So maybe it'll still work, but it's not ideal situation. But anyways, outside of him, there are a lot of other guys who have figured out certain things. Heck, you watch LaFleur over there with Green Bay. Not great quarterback play, figuring out ways to win. Malik Willis, you got to start a couple games. Figured out a way to win with Malik Willis, a guy who the Tennessee Titans were like, here, take him, Green Bay. Take Malik Willis, Green Bay. That's fine. And LaFleur was like, man, I'll coach you up. I'll figure out a way to get through and win these games. So where the 49ers at with something like that? Some of them coaches, man, they're still doing their thing. All right, we got Chris Wall in the chat. He says, Ben Johnson plus Belichick or a fired Saleh as defensive coordinator, Shanahan and Swanson. This is an interesting one. All right, and I'm not here yet. I'm not on like the fire Kyle Shanahan train yet. I ain't there. I've seen the 49ers just in this position so many times, and Kyle has figured out a way to pull him out of the darkness. But for the people who say, well, if you fire Kyle, who are you going to bring in? Ben Johnson is a great answer. And I bet Ben would be like, give me this 49ers team. Remember, Ben was the hottest name this past offseason. And he didn't feel like it was the right situations for him. So he didn't want to take a head coaching job. But for the people that say, well, if you fire Kyle, who are you going to hire? Who's going to do better? Ben Johnson, with Belichick and Saleh. Saleh may not be a head coach, but that motherfucker is a hell of a defensive coordinator. And that Jets team, who's getting crap at the quarterback position, their defense is still playing good football. They didn't play as well against the Niners. They held them to 6 field goals, though. But their defense is still playing solid. It's the offense that has really failed him throughout his tenure with the Jets. So appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I see the Belichick. Is Bill Walsh available? The other Bill guy is still available. All right. I don't know about Bill Walsh, but Bill Belichick, he's doing a lot of things in the media. He's on the same network as me with Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Crocky. Make sure you guys download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com. But Belichick, it sounded like if he's going to get a job, he'd be the head man, not a defensive coordinator. Because I think the 49ers told him, hey, you can come to the 49ers in any capacity that you want to come to this team in. So you want to be head coach, not head coach, excuse me. You want to be defensive coordinator, come be defensive coordinator. You want to just be somebody that, oversees things, be that. Like whatever you want to do, Bill, you come to the 49ers, you could be that. And Bill said, I'll pass. I'll take this year off and do a whole lot of media, have fun with that. So I'm not sure he's interested in being a defensive coordinator. All right, here we go. Coming on now, we got my guy Jedi. Jedi, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, brother. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, man. I'm not on the fire Kyle train yet. Shout out to Tia, man. She's good. That girl is good.
Oh, yeah. She's going to tell her how it is. She's going to tell her how it is for real.
That girl is good. I've heard her have better takes than some of the guys on here, man. That girl is good. That girl is good, man. She's good. Yeah. But I'm not going to fire Kyle, but I am going to fire Lynch. I told you this a long time ago, man.
Ooh.
John Lynch. He's got to go, man. Next, you can't circle the wagons with him next year, man. You can't trust this draft. Look at this. We're paying for all those drafts that we either didn't have picks or we picked the receiver when we probably didn't need a receiver this year. The receiver doesn't play. So, I mean, you have to have a general manager who is not afraid to be the bad guy, man. You got to be. This team should have, like Tia said, somebody should have blew this team out or fought to blow this team up because they're old and it's showing. You can keep certain pieces of the car, but you can't keep the whole car. There's certain scraps of the engine you can keep, but you can't keep the whole engine. The car is now breaking down. Debo's game was never going to age great. That kind of game where you're just, you get the ball in your hands and you're attacking for yak yards, that's not going to age well. You can't have the Yak brothers going into the 30s of their. You have to be setting your game differently as a route runner to avoid the hits, to avoid the compound back to back trying to cram a ball in through 3-4 defenders. That you just it's not going to age well. And you know how Bill Walsh used to say, you better to get rid of a player 1 year before than 1 year later. Trying to have this loyalty. Christian McCaffrey, if anyone knew that he had tendonitis on his Achilles, like the general manager has to say, no, we're not. But if you want to hold out, we'll trade you. Somebody's got to be the bad guy. Somebody's got to say, you know what, Trent, you're old. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're already on a deal. I don't believe you. You know what? You're out. You know what, Brandon? Don't even worry about it. You're gone. Don't worry, Debo, you're gone. We're going to retool this thing. We should have been the retooling process should have started in this draft. From the line, I mean, Jonathan Hargrave has given us nothing. Like, it's like we see it on tape. We know they see it on tape. Why? How did he make the roster again? And I can't get mad once you decide that, hey, we're going to just keep this thing together. Well, then you're going to take everything that comes with keeping this thing together. The band should have been broken up, man. It's over. Even the Jackson 5 knew when it was time to let it go. It's over. It's over, man. It's over. Dude. Let me ask you something, Crock. The red
Hold on,
zone
real quick.
probably.
The chat wants to know, is this stage 2 of grief
I think
that you're
so.
going through?
You know what? I'm not really in the grief part because I kind of saw it coming. Like, I guess my whole thing is everybody in the
It's
chat
like
room
somebody
is,
with cancer and they're fighting, but they got stage 4 cancer. So eventually how it's going to turn out. So you kind of prepare
or if you
yourself
see
for
a car wreck, like it's like you see the car wreck before the car wreck, and now the car wreck is just happening. But I saw it coming, but what are you gonna do? You kind of just kind of made our eggs and legs right
So
here.
what you're saying though is, right, you're saying that the car wreck that's happening right now with the 49ers is because of John Lynch.
Part John Lynch. I mean, this is a car wreck, so there's other cars involved. There's a Kyle Shanahan driving somewhere on the road. He's not paying attention. Then you have Brock Purdy, which is my next question. Like the red zone trouble, is that because Brock is a great thrower when it comes to lofting the ball, like having loft? But what happens when you have to zip? What happens when you get closer into the red zone and now you have to use your velocity to zip past this pass? No loft, zip. Can he do that? And I'm not saying he can't. Maybe this is just part of the red zone struggle. Him trying to figure out, does he have that velocity to actually zip a ball past a linebacker instead of lofting? Lofting is cool when you're trying to get down the field. But when you get into the red zone, zip matters. That's when that shoot on your right arm actually has to do something. So I don't know. Do you think he has? Do you think the red zone for the offense is Brock?
I think that Kyle could probably help everybody with a little bit more creativity down there in the red zone. And I'm watching some of the things that other offenses are doing to consistently either put up points or do well in the red zone, things that the 49ers used to do. I could say it's as simple as not having Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, is that the difference, not having your offensive player of the year in the backfield? But it shouldn't be that difficult when, even if you take him away, you have a running back right now who's on pace for like damn near 2,000 yards. You have an all-pro or former all-pro receivers really at every spot, whether it's X, Z, or your tight end. You have Juwan Jennings, who we've seen really get busy in the red zone. So there are guys who I feel like are more than capable of really contributing in the red zone for the 49ers, but for whatever reason, there's some kind of disconnect. And I think a lot of people are kind of alluding to Brock Purdy. I don't know. I'd have to watch and see how things are playing out. But ultimately, 49ers just haven't been good in the red zone really throughout this year, and it's something they have to improve on. Jedi, I'm going to get –
Okay. Oh, I was going to
go
ask
ahead.
you before I leave.
No, you have the question. Go ahead.
Do you think Brock is worth $60 million a year? And I get out of here on that.
When you watch some of the quarterback play around the league, I'd say yes. I'd say, well, okay. I would say that would be what he would have to get paid. And if I was the 49ers, I would pay that.
I would franchise him this year. Just to see if he could, especially if y'all want to move on to another coach. I would see how the year turns out. If you fire Kyle, I would franchise Brock and then let the head coach who was going to come in, that'll be his decision. But I'm out on that one.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, Jedi. All right, y'all. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to phone a friend. And we're just going to get some of their thoughts. All right, we're going to get some of their thoughts. So first, I'm going to call my guy, Lavelle. He better pick up my phone call. Lavelle Hawkins, Cal Golden Bear. As a matter of fact, he was at the game. Cal, that was a terrible. You want to talk about the 49ers blowing the game? Cal blew a game. It was really just as bad. But Lavelle played at Cal with, Deshaun Jackson, got drafted, played with Tennessee Titans for, 5 years, had a preseason with the 49ers, played with the Chargers. So Lavelle, knowledgeable guy. Maybe I'll ask a question. Should I bring him on? I'll bring him on one time so you guys can ask him questions about his stint with the 49ers when Harbaugh was there and all those guys, how guys were. But right now, I'm going to call Lavelle, and I'm just going to ask him his thoughts on the 49ers offense, and I'll ask him his thoughts on Brock Purdy. Now, when you listen to Lavelle Hawkins talk, he's not someone that talks to fans. All right, he's just a football guy. You know what I'm saying? He loves football. He played football. He loves football. He watches football, but he's not a media person. He just likes football. So if it comes off as somebody who doesn't typically talk to an audience of close to 200 people, that's why. But we're gonna call Lavelle right now. Here we go. You guys can see him right. There you go, Hawk. Let's see if he answers. Hey, Hawk. Right now I got you live on my show. So the fans, they just want to know a couple questions. All right, I'm gonna ask you.
Man, you can't put me on the spot like this. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. I already told them that you're not used to talking to like a bunch of fans, but we just want to get your take a little bit. So first, because this is something that you've said even prior to the season, you felt a certain way about the 49ers offense, and more specifically the passing game. So just some of your thoughts on Kyle Shanahan, and do you think that it's a little too simplistic, and do you think that teams are on to Kyle's passing game?
Oh yeah, I do. I think it's simple, man. The Niners depend on our running game like crazy, of course, but I think our concepts is way too easy. You know what I'm saying? If I was playing the 49ers, I'm sitting everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting and we watch and we wait on the crossers all day long. Crossers, corner sit routes, you know what I'm saying? They're not going down the field. We already know that. So crossers, corners, digs. That's all we run. And it ain't like we got any blazers on our team. Like, Aiyuk can run, but He ain't going down the field like that. It's too easy. It's way too easy.
All right. Then last question here. Your thoughts on Brock Purdy? Like some people have said, like, man, you think this is a guy you give $60 million to per year? But just in your opinion, just like just as a former NFL receiver, how do you feel about him leading the 49ers like for the next 7-8 years?
Man,
you don't got to give a political correct answer.
I'll tell you this: if Kyle stays, he fits well, right? But he's not a Jordan Love, of course. We all know that's common sense, right? He like Jordan get out there. They got all kind of pass concepts, different digs, out and up and goals and slant goals and all that type of stuff. But we are a West Coast team, so we're gonna run our slants, we'll run our shallows, and I think it helps Brock Purdy because everything is just timing, right? And so I don't see Brock going to Green Bay and doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? But if Kyle stays, wherever Kyle go, Brock needs to go with him and get paid. You know what I mean? But I'm a Brock Purdy fan though, so I'm a Niner diehard. So I love Brock Purdy. I love what he do in this offense. You know what I mean? This is stuff that everybody already know too. You know what I mean? He's a system guy, of course, but he make plays off schedule as well. So I'm a fan. I know his arm is not strong. Well, I mean, all America know that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
There's some people in the chat. They kind of want you to elaborate a little bit more because you said with Jordan Love. Are you talking more just like Jordan Love allows you to do a little bit more as far as concepts go?
Like he can get the ball down the field for sure, but that's the type of offense and stuff that they run too. You know what I mean? They can get out there and run double post right now. You know what I mean? And he can get that ball 60 yards down the field. Brock can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I got you. All right. Appreciate you, Hawk. I'll see you in an hour.
All right, man. I hope I don't sound too crazy on there, man. You put me on the blast, man.
Nah, you good. You good.
All right.
All right. There goes my dog Lavelle. And basically, what Lavelle was saying was not that Brock isn't this good quarterback. He just feels like if he gonna pay Brock, he wants Kyle with him because he feels like the offense that Kyle Shanahan runs really highlights what Brock Purdy does well. Essentially, he's saying if you put him in another scheme that's going to ask him to do a little bit more in the passing game, maybe that's not quite something that fits Brock's skill set the best. That's what he was saying. So I don't think he's just saying, oh, Jordan Love is better than Brock Purdy. He's just saying for the 49ers system, as long as I got Kyle, let's go with Brock. But if you take him outside and he thinks of a guy like Jordan Love where you could do a little bit more with your concepts and passing game. So maybe, I've talked about the passing game and how simplistic it is. It sounds like potentially it might be is Kyle kind of doing a little bit what he did with Brock, with Jimmy G. Maybe different areas of the field they're able to work. But hey, you do these things well. So yes, it's simplistic to everybody else, but this is what you do well. And running this offense, we're going to have the most success with this guy at quarterback. That could be the case. All right. I'll make one more phone call. We're going to call my guy Dez Bishop. Now, I don't even know if Dez, oops, wrong number. I don't know if he watched the 49er game. I knew Hawk watched the game because I know Hawk, he a big 49er fan. All right. But Desmond Bishop actually have his picture. He's in the 49er uniform. Dez played with the 49ers. I want to say the hardball year. Like 2014, I think Dez played with 49ers. But he's another Cal Golden Bear. He played 9 years in the NFL, won a Super Bowl with Green Bay. Started at linebacker, Green Bay, Minnesota. Again, played a lot for the 49ers. So I'm going to get Dez on the call. Now, he's the defensive coordinator at my high school, so I'll see Dez today as well. They're going to be like, Crock, why are you putting us on the spot with asking us these questions? All right, but here we go. We're going to ask Dez what he thinks about just really where the 49ers are, and maybe we'll ask Dez some defensive questions. Here we go. All right, so we call him. Oh, no, did he not? I know he didn't forward my call. We're going to call him again. There we go. All right. So we call him Dez. Hey, Des.
Yeah.
Why I barely hear you.
What happened?
Was you in the bathroom or something?
No, coffee machine.
Oh, coffee machine. All right, hey, real quick. So I got you on my show. So just so you know, you're on the spot a little bit. I just got a couple of quick. Did you watch the 49er game yesterday?
Nah, I didn't get to watch it.
Ah, you didn't even watch the game. All right. Just in general, I know you've watched some of the Niners, and I just got a very simple answer. All right. When you watch the 49ers offense, do you think that maybe there's a little bit more? Do you think they put maybe too much resources to the run game and maybe can do a little bit more passing wise, or do you think they run it based on their personnel? Like, because a lot of fans think like, man, are the teams around the league on to what the 49ers do?
Maybe a little bit. I think it's. I wouldn't want to use the word gimmicky to describe Shanahan's offense because it's. I think it's a dope offense. I think the run game is unique. But I would just say that I wish the quarterback, in order to throw, the quarterback got to have a lot more power, I think. And so what comes with that is making a lot of the reads, where I think with the 49ers offense, I think is the coaches is calling the play kind of, and they like throw it here or here. And it's not like a read process for the quarterback. So when they get kind of in trouble and teams pick up on it, it's like throw here or here. If the team pick up on it, like, all right, where's the quarterback's ability to be like, all right, either let me help design this stuff or give me like something more. And I feel like that's what's missing. It's like the offense is the system, and the quarterback is just, hey, go here, make this simple read. But when you look at other offenses like Houston, you look at these young boys, you look at Patrick Mahomes, it seems like he's in the meeting with Andy Reid, and they like creating it together. So when there is a breakdown or if something don't work, then the quarterback is in charge too of fixing it. And I feel like that's not the case with the 49ers. I think that could be an issue. And I could be wrong, and because I haven't really watched a lot. But also what made me come to that assumption too is sometimes the Niners would come up to the line, and it should be a situation where like the quarterback should check out of this. Like to the right is like whatever play we got going to the right, like we should be able to have an adjustment and switch it to the other side or something. And the Niners don't. They just run into it. It's like, the quarterback ain't got no power because he should have easily been like, check right here, let's do this. But I don't know. That's just my opinion.
All right, man. Hey, Des, I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. All right, that's my guy, Desmond Bishop, former 9-year NFL linebacker, played with the Niners for a bit, but we all coached together at Edison, so you know what I'm saying, we all dogs. But essentially what he was saying, and this is different than what we heard Lavelle say, right? What Des was saying is that he feels the 49ers, maybe Brock doesn't have as much say in what goes on. So he's thinking Kyle basically is using, and I could be paraphrasing, all right. I could be paraphrasing, but Kyle is using Brock as a robot, and it's like, all right, this is the play. I want you to throw here or there, right? And Brock's like, all right, I got you. And Brock goes out there and he's able to throw here or there. But when teams pick up on that, right, does the quarterback have the ability to say, hey, Kyle, they're doing X, Y, Z. I think we should do this, and this, or I think this would be better suited for us in this situation. Can I check out of the play, put us in a better situation? Now, I have heard other people talk about the 49ers offense and say that the answers are all in the play, right? This was Steve Young. Steve Young, he loves the offense because he's like, well, no matter where, Steve Young essentially saying there's an answer in the play call to every defense that's being ran. And it's just on the quarterback to find the answer. And what Dez is saying, all right, I hear you, but what if the play that we have on and the look that they're giving us, we actually don't have an answer to it? Can I check? And he's saying he doesn't know if Kyle is giving Brock that power. Now, maybe he is. Or maybe Brock's just not there yet in his development. But that could definitely be something right there. So maybe that's why we're seeing Brock freestyle a little bit more. Maybe that's why we're seeing Brock freestyle a little bit more. Hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Maybe Brock is coming to the line of scrimmage knowing, I don't think the answer is quite there to this play. I don't like this look. Let me try to buy time. Let me try to make a play on the move. Let me run around, scramble, find somebody open. Could he potentially be doing that? That's interesting. Spy v Spy, he says, what I've been saying, when we get into a bad play, Brock can only check to a run, so he has to make that play work or make an off-script play. And I can see that. Chris Wall says, take the training wheels off Purdy. That could be it. As well. Now with this, all right. I'm gonna call Greg. All right. I'm gonna call Greg. Greg text me. Hold on, because he doesn't have his stuff set up yet. Shout out to my guy Greg Pinelli, quarterback extraordinaire, best quarterback trainer I know. All right. Also was my junior college teammate. He's gonna say some stuff that might go over my head a little bit. And I already know because we texted a little bit last night. Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. See, you see how they big time you? Now he's texting me right now. I can't answer. I ain't trying to hear that. Anyways, I'll read it real quick and then we'll get out of here. He texted me. He said, hold up, 1 sec. My son is knocked on me. I'm gonna put him down. Okay. All right. So good. So now I don't have to like try to guess what he was saying in this, but he sent me some pictures. He talked to me about what the protection was supposed to be with the 49ers on that last play. Did Jordan Mason miss a block? Did Jordan Mason block the wrong guy? Should the ball have been out of Brock Purdy's hands? All right. I probably got to do this a little bit more often, huh? These phone a friend. So what teams have been doing besides putting hands on the wide receiver? Shows one look and dropping into another post snap, another at the snap. Mike Shanahan, the only Shanahan in the Niners building who will ever have a Super Bowl ring. I hope that's not the case. Feels like 2017, 2018, where they just couldn't end games. 2017 is an interesting one because remember, once Jimmy showed up, they started to close out games. But prior to that, they had lost at one point 5 straight games by 3 or less points. 5 straight games by 3 or less points. That was like a record, consecutive losses in that manner. And yeah, that was a record. They were really close. Basically, that's what I'm saying. And then Jimmy came in and really helped kind of like get them over that edge of being able to just win football games. Dez making coffee. Gotta respect it. Dez a cool dude, man. Dude love football. He's just always in coach mode. He's a tremendous defensive coordinator for us, especially at the high school level. But he could be coaching college if he wanted to. He loved his stuff. He loves it. He gets it. And we were both in this adult basketball league on separate teams. And he stayed and watched my team play. He played his game, then stayed and watched us. And I come off the court, and he's coaching me up. Hey, man, okay, your brother, he does this and this. You guys need to do more dribble handoffs and get him the ball. Like, he coaching up in basketball. Like, he don't know how to turn it off. Dez does not know how to turn coach mode off. He don't know how to turn Coach mode off. Dez also is the one who called the 49ers offense a little gadgety. He did say that. Which iPhone model is this? I want to say I have the 15. I want to say it's the iPhone 15. I want to say. I got to get that new iPhone, though. All right, here we go. Here's Greg. Y'all ready? We got my guy Greg Pinelli calling. I don't got no picture of Greg. I got to show a little bit more respect. All right, here we go. Greg Pinelli, how you doing? You're live on the Eric Crocker Morning Show.
Oh. You put me on the spot like that?
I know. Hey, I called Lavelle. I called Dez, and then now I'm calling you. But for you, different reason, right? Like Lavelle, Dez, I asked about the offense. Matter of fact, hold on. I can actually mention this with the offense with you as well, because if you go back to what was it, 2021 maybe? We were, on the YouTube doing the thing. We're watching the film. We're breaking down Jimmy Garoppolo. And one thing, and people called you a Jimmy defender, I feel like at that time. But what you were saying was, hey, these offensive concepts are crappy, like the passing game. And you were saying they're very simplistic. I mean, you were saying this years ago, and now I think people are starting to kind of see it and feel it. But do you think that the 49ers have gotten better with their passing concepts at all?
I think the game itself or the concepts themselves have not necessarily gotten better, but they've started to try and stretch the field a little bit more. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday, and I think the issue with that sometimes is you start to neglect really what got you to where you're at, in the current stage of the 49ers. And I think that's one reason Tom Brady was so successful. And I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't, but when you compare the two, Tom Brady was somebody who would always take, the first or second progression that would be there now instead of trying to stretch the ball down the field like some of these other guys. And it really worked out for him at the end of the day. And it worked out for the Niners. And there was that huge conversation of the dink and dunks, and Jimmy's a dink and dunker. And it's not talking about Jimmy anymore, obviously, but that was the conversation. And Brock became a little bit of that, or was doing a little bit of that, because that's what the offense predicated. And then he was able to stretch the ball down the field when we would need to take those shots. But last week, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week he was stretching the ball down the field, especially towards the end of the game or in the middle of the game with the Patriots, taking a few shots that, you normally probably wouldn't see from him. And then even yesterday. But I will say this, it doesn't seem like the route concepts that we had in previous years are there anymore, or haven't been. And I haven't watched it. I haven't gone back and watched a ton of the film, so I'd have to go back and watch it to give you a little bit more of an in-depth conversation on that. But when I texted you yesterday, where's the 5-yard ends? Where's the unders? Where's the quick hitters with Debo and Aiyuk? The Niners have always been like the yak kings, right? And you pointed out that the Niners have been last in the NFL in yards after catch. And that was after the fact, or after I said that we have been pushing the ball downfield too much. And you're not sustaining drives, and you're not scoring the red zone. The setup stuff isn't even there anymore. And it just looks super bland. So that's been my opinion on it for the last couple of weeks now. But the offensive concepts as a whole have never been – they're creative, but I would say when you talk about like 3rd and 10 pass game concepts, third and mid, I know that 85% of the time we're throwing the ball in between the hashes across the middle. It's damn near a given every time. Whether it's to Juwan Jennings, whether it's to Aiyuk, whether it's to Debo, somebody's going to catch a deep dig across the middle or a deep crosser across the middle. And I'm not sure why that is.
So do you think that teams are potentially starting to kind of like, all right, let's try to take that away from them, and then how do the 49ers kind of respond to that?
I think they do, but then we run these concepts where there's a lot of two receiver concepts with somebody else underneath, never 4-man concepts, or even 5-man and putting the backs out of the backfield a ton. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like the gimmicky stuff, but it's almost less, this is going to sound weird, but less football, more creative from an offensive play call standpoint instead of just let's play football and see who the hell is going to get open and let's rely on our quarterback to make the decision for us. It's almost like the decision made from the sideline before or as the play call is getting out there into the headset. It's not like I watched Kirk Cousins a few weeks ago, right? And some people were like, "Oh, so we should have had Kirk Cousins, 3 years ago or 2 years ago or however many years ago." But you watch him do that comeback, or I don't even know what team it was against.
You talking about the Atlanta?
Yep, that one.
Buccaneers, Atlanta Buccaneers.
2 weeks ago.
What you talking about? Atlanta Buccaneers comeback?
No, not that one. But anyways, regardless, it was like Kirk Cousins the last 2 minutes of the game was absolutely dialed, and you watched their concepts, and it was just efficient. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, we have the talent for it on the 49ers. How the hell could they not do this? It doesn't make sense to me. The offense always looks great. First drive of the game, sometimes second drive of the game. Then it just goes stagnant or it's stale. And people can say, "Oh, Christian McCaffrey's out there." That's fine. Mason's done fine. He's done a great job. But it's one person. If you can't function in your offense without one person, I get it. He's the best at what he does. Then we got bigger problems.
Especially when you have other guys who are really good at what they do as well. Maybe not as great as McCaffrey at running back, but it's like you got some pretty damn good receivers, and you got a pretty damn good tight end, a pretty damn good fullback. You have some guys that are damn good. It's not like
you got Pro Bowlers and future Hall of Famers on your team, and guys that have got you to where we are at right now. Aiyuk had a good day yesterday, I thought. I just don't think their offense, as it stands right now, has any sort of identity whatsoever. And that's the problem. Whether that is a dink and dunk type of offense, I call it West Coast. People call it dink and dunk. If it's boring to you, well, sometimes, you can tell people on the defensive side, if you guys played, 2-man back in the day, or not even 2-man. If you just played base cover 2 and nobody could, and sometimes you threw some Tampa out there, but it was boring because we didn't do a ton of blitzes. Well, if you're stopping people, who's going to complain about it? Right. If people can't move the ball against your base cover 2 or your Tampa, what's the issue? And the Niners, it just felt like they were able to move the ball with so much more ease the last few years, and I don't know why. It's the same weapons out there. It's the same people out there, but it's become really stagnant. And the red zone offense right now as a whole is not the sexiest to watch either.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different conversation. I do have one question for you, and this is the last thing. I'll get you out of here. You text me after the last play, and some people were wondering, who's at fault? Is it Jordan Mason, potentially missing a block? Or blocking the wrong guy. Could Brock Purdy I got the ball out sooner? Were there too many vertically pushing routes? Like, what are some of your thoughts on just that last play where the 49ers threw that interception?
I think the play call was there for the defensive look that they got. Obviously, they brought pressure. The numbers were there from an O-line and running back protection standpoint. Not sure if there was a miscommunication, but overall, based on the protection being a 2-jet protection, it looked like they borrowed the backside guard based off of, the pre-snap alignment of one of the down linemen or one of the D tackles. Okay, so then they overload the right side with 2 more guys coming. Mason works inside out. Okay, so he's working the mic. So the jet protection is 4 down to the weak side. So the offensive linemen are responsible for the 4 down linemen to the weak side linebacker. Obviously, Kittle was on the right side, so who wears the weak side linebacker? On the left side of the defense, if you're looking at it from an offensive standpoint. And then they bring 2 more. They brought a safety or nickel, and then they brought a backer. So Jordan Mason is working inside out. He takes the inside most. It's not necessarily the most dangerous guy, but the inside most guy that's coming on the blitz, which would be the Mike at that standpoint. The guard helps out with a D tackle and then peels off last second to help out with the Mike, and then the safety runs right by Jordan Mason. Everybody's blowing their gasket up about it. But in theory, based on the protection theory and his responsibility of having a dual scan, Jordan Mason is supposed to take the inside guy that's coming. So that's the biggest issue there. With I think my Siri's telling me about protections now. No, that he took, in theory, what should be the right guy for him to be blocking, and then that other dude that came, which was the nickel, and I'm trying to make it as elementary as possible for people listening. The other guy that comes free, if he's in there free, essentially we should be hot off of them as a quarterback. And these are all things these are day one protection. These are college, high school level protection calls as far as, the quarterback having understanding what he should do. If you watch Kittle, he's moving across the middle. He's open. Now, take that one step or you got to drift and buy yourself a little bit of time when you know that they're going to bring two extra. And,
kind of like we saw Kyler Murray do that on that deep ball,
exactly
where he kind of faded back and then lofted it to a spot. But that was him buying himself time versus the blitz.
He knew it was cover zero. Cover zero, they're bringing the house. You better the drop and all responsibilities from a footwork perspective go out the window. You get a 3-step drop, 3 and a hitch, and we're going to do this. We're going to look right to left. No, when it's cover zero, it all goes out the window. You catch the ball, you're getting depth. Buy yourself time and chuck it up towards the sideline or, down the field in hopes that we can get either a PI call or a completion. But, yeah, they're bringing the house. You got to get the hell out of there right now. And I don't think he had to necessarily do that because you had the under route and the Mike. I don't know if it was a zone blitz. I have to go back and look. But they brought the dude up. I'll just call him the Mike. So let's say they brought the Sam and a safety. From the other side, the Mike just dropped out in the middle. Kittle ran his route 4 yards underneath him and was looking at Brock when they were maybe one step across the line of scrimmage yet. I sent you the screenshot of it. So he was open now. And that's what's got to happen. Especially with Kittle seeing a blitz, Kittle's going to turn his face faster when he sees blitz. Those guys, he knows that those guys are coming. They might be saying something. They might be yelling. But he would turn his head faster, expecting the ball to be coming to him faster because that would be one of the hot routes in the concept. So I thought the concept was fine. I thought the route was fine. I thought everything was fine. You just have to be hot off that one guy. And it was the same case in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, where we got to be hot off one dude. I think they overloaded the right side of the Super Bowl too, didn't they? The last play to Jennings or something like that. It was one of the last plays of the Super Bowl. Same exact thing. Overload the right side, brought them both through, and couldn't make a play out of it. And again, I don't know. You don't see a ton of communication from the O-line back to the quarterback or the quarterback back to the O-line when we do have overloads or when we do have potential blitzes or blitz looks. And all of those things are usually presented on film. And if we see something, why isn't somebody getting up to the line of scrimmage screaming at the O-line, or why is the O-line screaming back at the quarterback on certain things? That's been a missing piece for X amount of years. And it's frustrating to watch because you see Caleb Williams yesterday making calls at the line. Yeah, his center corrected him on a couple of them because I saw they had a hot mic and he was saying something to the low line, trying to change the protection. And you see his center turn around yelling at him. You don't ever see that with the Niners, do you?
Nah.
That's a problem. It's a huge disconnect, I feel like. It's a guess that we think that our line and quarterback should be on the same page, or this play call is going to work out because I drew it up and I know what they're going to give us and our protection should be good. You're not always going to be right. We've talked about this for years. The defense has a job too. The Niners offense, as good as they are not always going to win on offense. And here we are where some teams may have figured out where the play calls have become stagnant and stale. there needs to be some sort of shift and change and responsibility shift, maybe to the quarterback in the center, maybe to the quarterback in the line. But I'd like to start seeing that because we've gone through these same things for years, and nothing has ever changed.
All right, man. Well, Greg, I appreciate you. Before you came on, I had Lavelle come on. He gave his perspective. Now I have my guy Desmond Bishop come on, and he gave his.
Did Lavelle give his perspective on Cal blowing a 40-point lead the other day?
He did not. He's still hurt though. He's hurt because I mean it was the Cal one day, then you wake up the next day and the 49ers blow a lead. So
yeah,
he's hurt. He's hurt right now.
I'm gonna have to text him and check up on him.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. Appreciate you, Greg.
Yep, no problem, Crock. We'll see you then.
All right. Shout out to my guys, and that's the end to Phone a Friend. All right, we call Lavelle, we call Desmond Bishop, we call Greg. Three guys who, you know, they're very different in the way they digest football. Lavelle loves watching it, big fan of the 49ers, you know, played in certain offenses with Tennessee and all that, Titans and all that. So he has his view. And then Tedford, you know, he was under Tedford at Cal. So he has that perspective. Then you have Dez. He gives everything from a defensive perspective, and he's a super thinker. Like, I think this guy probably like could really be a scientist if he wants. But he's a deep thinker, and he thinks of things from the defensive perspective. He is a linebacker. And then we have Greg, who was a quarterback, and obviously does a lot of training, talks to a lot of guys. So, yeah. That's going to do it. Went a little bit longer. I got to hurry up and jet to football practice. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I wanted to bring something a little different. We give our takes. We come in and then, you know, everybody, they're going to talk about this and that and all that. Like, man, let me bring something a little different. Let me bring some of my dudes that may bring a different perspective than other people. So that's what I really like. But, yeah, like, subscribe, and Underdog Fantasy. Download the app or go to download the app. Or go to underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code Crocky. I'm out. Peace.